Yeah, a bit of a strange one, that one. Play the thing. Yeah, very strange NXT last night, but we'll get into it. My name is Steve. Welcome back to the channel. This is the NXT review for April 21st, 2021. Let's get into it. Show starts off with Kyle O'Reilly coming out for a promo. It's good to see that there's still a crowd in the CWC. This promo was painful. Yeah, I did not enjoy this one bit at all. Cameron Grimes comes out. He tries to save this segment, but yeah, this is just, it's painful, man. Like, whether this is scripted or whatever, but O'Reilly is just, he delivers a really bad promo here. Was not a fan of it. Ends up with him sucker punching Cameron Grimes to lead to the main event match tonight. Yeah, not a fan of this bit. Let's move on as quickly as possible. We then get a backstage video from earlier on in the day where Saray has arrived at the CWC. William Regal's there to meet her. Zoe Stark pops up into the scene. She wishes to be Saray's first opponent in NXT. She obligingly asks William Regal for the match, and he asks Saray, would you like to face Zoe Stark tonight? She agrees, and this again sets up another match for later on in the night. Coming up, you've got LA Knight. He then is making his way to the ring. He's cutting a promo on Loomis and the events that took place, Stand and Deliver. He's basically just building for their match coming up. So we get to the match. Dexter Loomis enters. I love his music. It reminds me of Stranger Things. I think that's one of the things that appeals to me about Dexter Loomis and Harry's whole he doesn't talk kind of thing. Like, it's a unique dynamic for a wrestler that doesn't talk and works by artwork and stuff like this. It's really, I find Loomis really interesting. Like, if he's on, I'll watch him. We get into the match. It's nothing special. It's got some good back and forth, really. There's a good moment where Loomis does a kip up into a leg drop, like he kips up and then jumps straight into a leg drop, which was a really good move. But this is more about Indy Hartwell and Loomis again. It gets to a point where Dexter's outside the ring. You've got Indy Hartwell. She pops up. She's behind one of the Perspex glass windows. Loomis locks eyes with her and they sort of make their way down to where there's no Perspex. Indy falls over in sort of a bashful sort of Cinderella way. These two are obviously having another moment. LA Knight takes advantage and attacks Loomis. Loomis throws Knight back into the ring as a counter. This distraction unfortunately ends up costing Loomis as he's getting back into the ring. Knight hits him as he's sort of halfway through the ropes, hits him with like a front face DDT sort of crusher thing, gets a pinfall. It's a good win for LA Knight, but yeah, it's just it's unfortunate that Loomis has had to lose via distraction. Really, I would have preferred just a more cleaner win to this. After the match though, LA Knight has made his way out. Loomis is in ring. Indy makes her way to the apron. She is obviously still trying to get this fairy tale kiss off of Loomis. She's then pulled off the apron, by the way. She then tries to get back on the apron again, and Austin Theory then carries her out because they just don't want nothing to do with it. These four are probably the best thing on NXT at the minute. They're in this show quite a lot tonight, but a lot of the stuff they do is really entertaining. We then get a very pointless backstage video from Leon Ruff, just talking about how he's angry with Isaiah Swerve Scott, and then that's it. You don't hear no more about it for the rest of the night. Very pointless. I'm bored of seeing this rivalry, really. Got no interest in it now. After the commercial break, we then have a sit-down interview with Io Shirai with Beth Phoenix. They basically just talk over Io's run as champion for 300 days and what this now means for Io Shirai. She states that she's going to come back to that title. She wants to face Raquel again, but she needs to rest. Frankie Monet then enters. She's playing this sort of stereotype blonde woman sort of character. I don't really like it, if I'm honest. I'm always welcome to be turned 180 on these things, but yeah, it's I just didn't like the whole sort of stereotyping sort of blonde bimbo kind of thing, because that's the kind of thing that was coming across. But she just states that while Io's out, she's going to become top of this women's division. It'll be good to see where she goes going forward. But yeah, I just think they need to work on this character because I'm not sold on it at the minute. We then cut to Breezango in ring, who are dressed up as British military soldiers in their ceremonial outfits. You might have seen them recently if you've caught anything on the death of Prince Philip and his funeral. They're the ones that wear the big fur hats on it, and they're coming out to sort of the old British Bulldog theme tune. They're up next. They're going to have a match with the Grizzled Young Veterans. Gibson on his way to the ring cuts a good promo. Gibson's amazing on the mic. He basically calls them ignorant Yanks, says that they're taking the mick out of them, out of British people and stuff like this. The match itself is okay. There's a good storytelling point where Drake comes off of the top rope, looks to have injured his knee, and he's trying to sell a knee injury. This is all just a distraction as Gibson gets in the ring and he manages manages to eye poke Fandango and sort of turn the match in their favor. Breeze then gets a good hot tag off of Fandango after this. It goes on a sort of good run, but ultimately it ends up with the Grizzled Young Veterans hitting Ticket to Mayhem, and they get the pinfall. We then get a backstage interview with Indy. She's about to spill her story about everything that's going on with Dexter Lumis. The way interrupt this, they want to cut out the interview. Their character work in this is really good this episode. I can't fault any of them. They're again abruptly interrupted by Bronson Reed. He states that he still wants that North American Championship. Austin Theory then declares that at some point he's spoken to William Regal, and he said that if Bronson Reed wants an NXT North American title match, he has to go through him. Johnny is outraged at this. He's like, why are you talking to William Regal? It's really good character work by the pair of them. But so that's going to lead to a match coming up next week. There's a slight promo for NXT UK. Mustache Man, and they're going to be back in action as a tag team this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. They're a great tag team. Cameron Grimes is then backstage having a completely non-related interview to this whole Kyle O'Reilly, Cameron Grimes feud. He's basically on about NFTs that he's been buying up, and that Harry bid for one, and he then receives a letter which is from a company that he tried to buy an NFT of, and they said unfortunately after the bid closing, they received a higher bid which they couldn't refuse, and it's signed by none other than WWE Hall of Famer Ted DiBiase. If you've seen anything on the dirt sheets recently, that Ted DiBiase, that he was starting a storyline with Cameron Grimes, so I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes. We then get the debut of Saray in NXT. She's taken on Zoe Stark. Nothing really special about the match, just some good back and forth, big forearm hits on Zoe Stark. There's a moment where Zoe's draped on the bottom rope and Saray hits her with his big drop kick. It was a mean looking drop kick. It was really good. Saray then hits a Saito suplex for the win over Zoe Stark. It's a really shame that Zoe Stark had to take a pinfall loss here. Like I said in previous weeks, I really wish that they carried on building Zoe Stark and getting her some more wins. Nothing with Mercedes Martinez, obviously, after their interaction last week. As Zoe Stark's leaving, she's then jumped by Toni Storm, who throws her into the barricade. So this is obviously coming back off of Stand and Deliver on their pre-show match. Saray then exits the ring to sort of comfort Zoe while she's laid out on the floor, and Tony just walks out. Again, nothing really much to it. We then get Dakota Kai and Mercedes Martinez backstage being interviewed. I really don't know what's going on with the booking for Raquel. This 50-50 baby heel dynamic is really strange. One minute she's talking like a baby face, and the next minute she's talking heel, and it's really strange booking, and I've got no idea whether you're supposed to boo or cheer her. It's a really weird dynamic. Dakota Kai she's slightly... You get the idea that she's sort of trying to take over how Raquel talks in interviews. Like she's saying that, basically kind of like everything that Raquel, if anyone wants to challenge Raquel, they've got to go through me first kind of thing. It's really awkward booking. Don't really like it, unfortunately. We then get Indy and Candice backstage. Candice is basically saying to Indy that she needs to not focus on Dexter Lumis, who just so happens to pop up in an office that's situated behind him, and he's sort of creeping on him a bit from the window. Indy obviously locks eyes with her. Candice then walks off, but notes to her that Indy actually hasn't followed her, and she's actually staring at Dexter through this window. That she then comes across Ember and Shotzi as they're coming out of the locker room. Candice then basically says that we should be NXT Tag Team Champions, and mentions all this we stuff, and then they obviously turn around and say, well, what does Indy think of this? Obviously, they know Indy's not behind her. Candice turns around, realizing that Indy's not there. She knocks the cup of water into her. Ember then screams, "Girl, get hold of her." It's just kind of like a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat sort of voice. They drag her into the locker room, and yeah, she just gets done over in the locker room. We then get Kushida with his open challenge celebration for winning the Cruiserweight Championship. He's got no boots on now. It's kind of like, say, living back to his sort of MMA days, and it's really strange because he struggled as well because he was slipping a lot on this canvas without boots on. I don't understand his repackaging either. It's like, I don't see what was wrong with his previous look, sort of like in the Marty McFly jacket and the denim jeans and the white boots. He looked amazing like that. The challenges accepted by Oney Lorcan, loads of mat-based wrestling, some big chops from Oney Lorcan on Kushida. That's a good spot to go and check out on the highlights. Eventually ends with Kushida putting in the hoverboard lock and getting the tap out. Legado del Fantasma then enter the arena as Kushida's celebrating. The three of them then try to jump Kushida. MSK then come to the save, and this is basically building to what you think is going to be a six-man tag match next week, which inevitably does. There's next week's later on announced that there will be a six-man tag match, Kushida and MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. We then get a Mercedes Martinez promo backstage. She's finally discovered where the camera is those people. She's no longer interested in staring into Vic Joseph's soul anymore. And she basically just says that she was going to come for that title, but she's going to take out Dakota Kai first. So again, build to a match next week, which is again announced later on in the night. You're going to get Mercedes Martinez versus Dakota Kai. We then get another Way promo backstage. You've got Johnny and Austin sitting in the changing room. Johnny's trying to figure out how Austin spoke to William Regal. Candice come in and she looks rough. She looks like she's been battered. Indy then follows in 10 seconds later saying about how she saw Dexter and all this kind of stuff. At this point, she says that she's managed to get a NXT Women's Tag Team title match again versus Shotzi and Ember. Austin then turns around and notices that Candice has gum in her hair and he tries to eat it. Man, I love Austin Theory, man. This comedy gimmick that he's doing at the minute is great. This is a great way to get people behind him, man. It's great stuff that he's doing. But yeah, so the three of them walk out. Candice is just left sat on the chair. And man, she looked pissed. We then get a tag team match, Imperium versus Everrise. Man, I completely forgot about Everrise. The last time I seen them, they were cutting some good promo stuff on TV. Glad they're back in the scene again. This NXT division, tag team division, is amazing, man. Some of the teams they've got are unreal. It's just a stacked division, man. And it's just a shame that there's like only one tag team title for them to all try and share, but man, it's good. There's a picture-in-picture promo as Imperium are coming down to the ring, and you're still getting Marcel Bartel giving Alexander Wolf the side eye in this video, man. So I don't know what this is leading to, but Imperium get off to a very strong start. Killian Dane makes his way down to the ring and sort of distracts the three members of Imperium. This almost ends up costing them the win as Everrise tried to get a roll up, but that's abruptly kicked out. It then cuts back to outside the ring and Drake Maverick's come down. He's trying to attack Wolf. Killian Dane pulls Drake Maverick off of him, asks him what he's doing, and then carries him out. Very, again, I don't know whether they're trying to plan on breaking Wolf off from Imperium. I really don't know, and reforming sort of half of Sanity with the two of them. The match ends with a European uppercut off the top rope in a Doomsday situation. A really good move to finish with. Imperium pick up the win for. They do their pose at the end. And again, you're just getting Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel giving Wolf side-eye while they're standing in the ring. We then get to the main event. Kyle O'Reilly is on his way to the entrance ramp. He comes across Karrion Kross after stating earlier on the night that he's going to make his intentions clear that he's coming for the NXT Championship. It's just a glimpse in eye at each other. They stand confronting. Nothing major to it. Kross just gives him a smirk as he walks off and enters the ring. We then get Kyle O'Reilly versus Cameron Grimes. This is your main event. And it started off slow, to be fair. It got better as the match went along. Kyle O'Reilly looks amazing in that blue camo gear, by the way. Yeah, this match was more focused about sort of the last 6-7 minutes than it was the start of it. The start was really technical stuff, but just a lot of countering. But as it gets towards the end, you start getting all your hard-hitting shots. Kyle O'Reilly ends up getting the pinfall victory. He ends up doing that big knee off the top rope that he done to Adam Cole. I presume this is now his new finishing move. That's a solid move, to be fair. This is probably the match of the night. But yeah, just after last week's NXT, this week just seemed to be a bit underwhelming. I don't know if I'm still off that adrenaline rush from last week, but yeah, hopefully I say it'll get better. So the 6-man tag match next week, that should be fun. Yeah, just really say underwhelmed, unfortunately. But not every week can be a perfect, unfortunately. But never mind. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks for checking it out. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment down below of how you felt about the show. Give us a subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.